Nigeria, and I make you welcome. This is Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television from the economic hub of Nigeria, Lagos. I am Henry UBBK, and we kickstart today, interestingly, with all we have from our newspapers, and right after that, we crisscross to our main conversation also for today. Do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can always find us when you reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am very so honored to have with me right here, joining me right here in our studios, Dotun Oladipo. He is a journalist, public affairs analyst, and equally a development communicator. Thank you so very much, Mr. Dotun, for being here.
Thank you so much.
Truly do appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate
all right.
Too.
So beautiful. So let's kick-start today with the Guardian newspaper this morning. And we have the big story, revenue target claim. Why Nigerians aren't so impressed. On the top strip of the same newspaper, we have police permit for tinted windshield is unnecessary burden for Nigerians, and equally in Nepal and danger of ignoring youth grievances. And equally have other interesting stories. Federal government hails Bielsa Namibe sister cities deal, and equally we have lots of other interesting stories. But let's get to the big story here. Revenue target claim. Why Nigerians aren't so impressed. Mr. Dotu, I love you to speak on this. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is so very impulsive when he says things. The subsidy is gone. He didn't think through it. And today, Nigerians are going through the difficulty of that. And right again, he came to say that they've met their target. 2 weeks down the line, they collected loan.
Yeah. you see, sometimes it's so difficult to align pronouncements with some realities. And that's the difficulty we are facing. The government has met its revenue target.
Okay.
But we are not feeling it in our pockets. We are not feeling it on our tables. I'm not just talking of any table, but the dining table.
Yes.
We are not feeling it in our kitchen. Is it normal for that to happen for a country that is distressed like Nigeria? Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the DG of the World Trade Organization, says it is normal.
It's normal.
That's what she said.
Okay.
It's normal. And why is it normal? According to her explanation. A country that is in distress will first make money to stabilize. It is when you stabilize that you can then move up the ladder again to a point where you feel relief or you return to normal. I tried to rationalize that, and the analogy I put to it was, okay, if somebody falls down and has an injury, there'll be a lot of pains. At some point when the doctor comes, that pain will reduce. At some point you stop feeling the pain, but it does not mean that the scar will go away easily. It could take weeks, it could take months, it could take years. That's my rationalization of that position. Now, we've been talking about so many things in the country, and topmost for me is this issue of food security. The only way Nigerians can feel all of these claims, I'm not an economist as far as I'm concerned, until when my pocket is saying yes, it is feeling better. I can't relate with those claims because for me they are claims. I'm not an economist. I don't read all of those figures, but I know what my pocket is saying. I read my pocket and I look at my table.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get into discussions with my children. They say, I want this. And the first thing I ask, do you know how much you have spent today? So they have now come to that realization that before you come to talk to me about spending more money in a day, you must first think of what you have spent earlier in the day. Because we are not talking about 10 years ago, where we had enough to go around, where a little money
could go round
a lot of things.
Yes.
Now it's a lot of money buying a little thing. So that's where we are. And until we get to the point where we're able to say, yes, when I wake up in the morning as an average Nigerian, because I can't say I'm poor. I say to people, the moment you wake up and you're able to eat, and you have hope for the afternoon and for the night, you are not poor. Forget about the quality of what you are eating. You are eating something. Some people can't even eat. So if I can say at that point, I mean now, and say, no, I have to do a lot of my calculations before I can do any spending, then I don't see those figures relating to me in the way the government wants us to see it. And that's why I keep saying, see, if you don't explain these facts and figures to people in simple terms that we can understand, and put it in short-term, medium-term, and long-term projections for Nigerians to see, we're going to keep being in trouble.
So does it mean that the president and those within the presidency, they have a long list of people handling the media? So do you think there's a deficit, there's a lacuna that they're not trying to fill there? Because you said they should explain to Nigerians in simple terms. So we understand all of this.
Now, when you ask certain questions, you get responses. But we are still at a point where those who are running the show in terms of reaching out to the public and the media, they are still not seeing that there is a huge gap between what you say under a roof and what you say in the public. Let me explain that, sir. In Enterprise TV, has anybody come to say to you, dedicate 30 minutes, paid, so that you are not doing free publicity? Because as you are doing it, you're also feeding those who are working here.
Definitely.
You're able to pay their salary. Has anybody come to you to say, this is the way to go? Let's buy 30 minutes of your time, do a discussion program. Let somebody come and explain to Nigerians. And I say to people, the National Orientation Agency is doing a lot.
It's doing a lot?
Yes.
Really?
And yes, I'm going to get, if you are not yet on the platform where they share their almost weekly explainer, it's a bulletin.
Okay.
They call it the explainer, where they take a topic, for instance, this issue of the president, saying we have met our target.
Yes.
What was the target? How did they meet it? Where did they meet it? What's the short-term gain? What's the medium-term gain? What's the long-term gain? That's all they do in that explainer. But that explainer does not get to even you as a journalist.
It's very well, because that's what I wanted to say. It's specific for the elite.
And that's the point we're making, that everybody must see it. You must reach out to everybody. And you don't just reach out. Because now we have gone beyond the point where the media is saying as a social responsibility, just keep dishing out information from the government. It's never done anywhere for free. One of the things people don't realize, we lost it during the regime of late President Muhammadu Buhari, where he cancelled everything that was going to the media. You recollect at that time, the media ran into a lot of trouble.
Very well. Even
all the big ones,
big ones started,
from which you just heard the story, had to trim completely. The Nation had to do it. Vanguard had to do it. Everybody did it, including the broadcast stations. We've got to have a rethink about that. And say, see, we know you are also a business. Create the enabling environment and let people tell us what you are doing. Let them see that the media is not hostile, but the media must always survive. And in survival, like I tell people, it is either somebody is paying for your airtime, your space, or you are using that space to meet the need of the public. And the public, as we speak, the majority, don't want to hear anything government. I say to people, we have come to a point in this country where people don't even read any serious news again. They just want the things that will make them happy. Talk about sex, talk about entertainment. That's what people are looking for. At least if government cannot make me happy, I should look for a way to make myself happy.
An alternative.
So they don't even read these things in a way. They look forward to certain programs, discussion programs like this, where they can call in, where they can express their anger, vent their frustration. But if you are providing them with all of this information, see, this is where this government is going. this is what has been done. This is the implication. In 1 year, you should be able to get this. In another year, you should be able to get this. But sometimes also, beyond the release of information, some government officials, ministers, commissioners, they don't even want to commit to timelines for projects because they know they will meet it. There was a time I asked one of the top people in the presidency who was part of the information machinery. He's out now. I said, you are talking about this CNG. You are talking about it. It's nice to hear. But can you give us the short term, the medium term, and the long term plans? He couldn't. And you have come on TV to tell us, government is going to do this, government is going to do that. No.
But to some extent, that is not, it's the fault of the presidency itself, because if the intention is not there, how does the person handling communication even communicate better?
That's the point.
Yes.
That's the point. For instance, now, there was a question that was asked by Adiza Bala Usman.
Yes.
The woman who takes responsibility for looking at what all these ministries, departments, and agencies are doing. Very fundamental question. You have followed the president to, say, China. We've signed MOUs. We've had discussions. Can we see on paper our action plan? 1 year after, what's the progress we have made? Where are we in terms of all these MOUs we signed? Are you following up? What have you done? Those are the things that are missing. For instance now, Ajaokuta steel mill is one of our biggest gold mines in this country. We appointed a man who is from that state, Kogi State, to oversee that place. Have you seen any movement? Have you heard anything? We have gone to Russia to say, okay, let's look at this thing again. We've gone to China, different places where this man appeared. What are we getting for all of these movements for which we have spent money? I don't think I can see anything. And in this country, one of our biggest needs is power. If Ajaokuta becomes functional today, we can take care of our power needs. Because even solar with its panel can serve this entire structure we have here without you getting on the grid. But where are we? And that place is a gold mine.
Well, the truth remains that you know that there's so much happening behind the curtain that is not being communicated to the people.
Yes. And
I wonder, I would love to believe it's your colleague, and you know him too well, Bayo Onanuga, and he's been there for a very long time, from the news to PM to lots of other places, and today he is one of those biggest stakeholders in charge of the media channel with the presidency. Why do you think he has found it very so difficult to ensure that all of these things that you had going on, I mean talking about, is being implemented? Let people get to know what the stories are. Let people get to know what the information is like.
I won't be answering that question talking about this particular government.
Okay.
But let me tell you one of the past governments that we've had. People in that media team,
yes,
they always want to do things, but they are also conscious. Because the Mr. Onanuga you mentioned,
yes,
for instance, was and is still a media owner. So he knows that the media, the oxygen for the media, is funding.
Okay.
And I'll tell you a story to back that up. To know that, I'm not saying it's happening now, but it's something that has happened in the past. When that government wanted to celebrate one of its anniversaries in office, a proposal was made. Let's give advert to say what we have done. Let's shout. That paper was passed to the office of a civil servant who is supposed to handle the payment. That paper was on his table for over 1 year. Approved already by the president.
Approved already?
By the president.
So why did he hold on to it?
So somebody in that administration, one of the media team managers, went to the then secretary to the government of the federation to say, see, this is what is happening. We've been to this man's office for so many times. He said, whose office did you go? I said, this office. Don't go there again, please. I beg you in the name of God. What do you need? It was from the SGF's office that they paid that money. Because that man was a super pamsec who could do and undo in that government. And nothing will happen. He's retired now. But that's the kind of frustration our people face when they get into government.
Wow.
I have not taken a political appointment since the return to democracy. It's not because I have not gotten
offers.
Okay. So many. At least not fewer than 5. But I've turned them down. Because like I've said, I'll wake up one day and slap the government. Or whoever I'm working with. Because it can be very frustrating when you're in that system. I'm telling you that from the experiences of those who have been in that system. At least I've made recommendation, and not less than 2 people had to flee that government because the environment was toxic. They take things to civil servants, they just sit on it. So it's not as if they don't know what is happening. But how do you feed the media with its oxygen when there's a lot of frustration in that system? This morning, we took a walk, and one of the things I was asked, why do civil servants, who, after all the complaints, my salary is too small, it's only 70,000, why don't they resign? Because they know where to mount roadblocks that will bring money to them. So, mix it all together, and you see that it's not that the media team does not know what it wants to do, but the environment is limiting. Forget about all the security clearance they have to go through and all of this and all of that. It's a toxic environment for the media because they don't see us as a part of the government. They hail us, call us the first
40 state of the realm.
Yes, we are there in name, but we are not there in activities. Before they remember that, okay, we are going for a program, the media should be there, they would have taken care of other sectors. You will see more security men who have nothing doing at such places than the media that is even supposed to provide and make it available to the public.
Well, it's actually very, very sad because I remember between 1995 and 1999, that was when the National Orientation Agency were really at their top game. I remember one advert, MAMSA, Education for All, by the year 2000, Jerry Ghana era. You know, so that was when the National Orientation Agency were really doing their job. But now, I do not know what they are actually really doing. If it's still because of the fund...
it's getting better now.
It's getting better.
I can tell you that.
Okay.
I can tell you that it's getting better under him. You can see some form of movement going from state to state, educating people on what the government is doing.
Okay.
But like I've said, the dimension that they are now going to add to it, that's for the National Orientation Agency, is to find a way of giving us hope. Don't tell me that this is what we have done. Let's be able to look forward. In 2 years, we'll finish this road. It will link you to this place. Yes. You can bring in this, you can bring in... Those are the kind of things Nigerians want to hear.
Very true.
Educate us. Let us know where we are going.
Very true.
A lot of people are sitting on money, but they don't even know because they can't see the government presence that will make it happen.
Very true. Because I actually saw on TikTok a young lady who benefited from the student loan program said she never thought she would get that loan. She just literally applied like every other person and she got it. Unfortunately, some of these programs are not being communicated to people, and she came to clear the air. That is an opportunity for Nigerians to know that there's money seated somewhere, and the reason you've not gotten it is because you've not applied. So I think the media channel, you know, should really do something about it. Done, yes. So let's go to the next paper. But of course, this time around, I'd love to take it from your media organization, theeagleonline.com.ng. So we'll be taking lots of stories from here. We have like Airpeace crew test positive for alcohol and drug. We equally have Obasa speaks on ambition after tenure as a speaker. Ekiti needs a leader capable of mobilizing for Tinubu's reform. GWI influencer in Yolua cheer on Hildebasi at world record of jollof attempt. So I'd love us to take on that particular matter. Hildebasi has done Nigeria proud. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about that.
I want you to add again.
Yes, again. She has a way of really bringing that story up there. And while I was watching the live show, I just asked myself, when would our politicians act like Hilda Bassi and start creating things that would get the world to talk about?
It's a big question, because what our politicians do most of the time is, this is the norm. And the norm can't get you to where you are supposed to go. You've got to be innovative. You've got to be able to think out of the box. Most of the time, what we are politicians, especially legislators, talk about is this constituency project, which money doesn't even come from their pocket. And when you go through what other countries are doing, you'll see that lawmaking has gone beyond sitting in the chamber, drafting, and drafting. It's gone beyond that. You've got to be able to innovate. You don't need to wait on the government all of the time to make things happen in your constituency. And that is what Hilda Bassi is showing us. Really, we can make things happen on our own. I credit our team for what they did again yesterday. The planning overwhelmed them. Very obvious.
Yes.
Because where they wanted to use initially was the Muri Okola Park,
Okay.
which they said could take only 3,000 to 3,500 maximum.
Yes.
Before that event began yesterday,
Yes.
they had over 20,000
Whoa.
people
Really?
who had registered to attend. Because they did their homework well. They did the publicity. Just like we spoke about the other time. People were in touch. They communicated what they wanted to achieve. So they had to move it from that place to a bigger venue, which they eventually used. And it turned out well. That's what we should be doing. Can we innovate? Even as individuals. What am I doing now? How can I make it better? Because indeed, a lot of us, when they ask you what the problem is, the first thing we mention is government. I've told people, at some point in our lives, we have to pretend like the government doesn't exist. Because indeed, if we all wait for government, we'll all die. So, let our politicians go beyond all of this showbiz stuff that we do. Go into the chamber or be on the TV. When something happens, they cry on air, and we are waiting for the next disaster to happen. You recollect that we are still waiting for that report of the train crash.
Yes, exactly.
We're still waiting.
Yeah.
Because we need to know. We really need to know. If all the reports we have had about the fact that that route already has CCTV, they are watching, they are doing this, and that still happens, then somebody must be held accountable. We must know what happened. So it has gone beyond just doing the normal. We've got to go out and do the extraordinary, because that's what people are expecting. That's why that's the only way to make people believe in the government and those who are working or serving the government. Otherwise, no matter what you tell Nigerians, once we can't see the evidence, it's normal. If you tell your child this thing is bean cake or cake itself, and the child comes and finds out that it's bitter cola, that child will lose confidence in you over time. That child will lose confidence in you. And that's what is happening to us in Nigeria. We've almost lost it with the government. Hopefully, things are going to change in a few years if we get it right. For Hilda Bassi, I say to her, congratulations. It's not, in fact, a lot of people were asking before that program began, how is she going to cook this thing? But she had a template.
Prepared for it over time.
Prepared for it. She took her time to do that. Yes. And I congratulate her.
Very well.
Open that despite the fall, the slight fall of that pot, nothing.
Oh, the pot fell
yes,
at some point.
It became cooked and they were trying to take it off to weigh.
Oh, really?
Yes. I pray that doesn't affect our chances.
The chances. Oh, okay.
Of getting this. But one thing I knew about her, if this fails, expect her in another
Should
2
do
months.
better. Well, a big congratulations to Hilda Bassi, and just like my guest Dotun did say, you know, this is a clarion call for our leaders, you know, to do better. You know, just like Hilda Bassi, she has 24 hours, just like every one of us have 24 hours. But the question is, what are we doing with the 24 hours that we have? As the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what are you doing with the 24 hours you have? As ministers, as senators, as governors, you have 24 hours. What are you able to do with that? Like Hilda Bassi had done, and equally putting Nigeria on the map. Everyone is talking about jollof.
Jollof.
Yes.
Nigerian
jollof.
We want to take it away from even the
well, from the owners.
Senegalese.
Yes, exactly. All right, so that's just about the time we have for now. And just to let you know that Dr. will be here to take us on our main conversation when we return. Nigeria spends 981.5 billion naira on elections with dwindling credibility. In a bit, a Steel Enterprise weekend. Please don't go anywhere.